What's going on, people? Welcome back to WeAreTottenhamTV, and good morning, everyone. As we've got a long stream to get through today, we're going to go through the match review from last night. We'll get Simeon thoughts on the game, and then we're going to go through a match preview for the game tomorrow. The game's coming thick and fast. Tomorrow, we have an away game finally against Southampton. And then we'll be getting you guys on to have your say on the game tomorrow. But let's start off with a match review from the game last night against Crystal Palace, 3-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And you know what? The stadium's turning into a bit of a fortress. We were just talking off air about it. You know, how many wins is that under Conte at the new stadium?
I believe it's 4 wins and a draw.
4 wins and a draw out of 5. And then we drew to Everton away, right? And yeah, we definitely should have won that Liverpool game as well. But on the balance of play yesterday, you know, the game started, and I think Palace actually had quite a fast start to the game, and we were quite slow coming out the blocks, quite sluggish. And it took us quite a while to get into the game yesterday. But I think that, you know, once we scored, and especially once Zaha went off, it was game over pretty much. It was like we completely locked that game down. It was such a professional job, and I feel like we hardly even got out of first gear for pretty much the whole game yesterday.
You feel it's an interesting one because in the second half, obviously we were 2-0 up and down to 10 men. And I thought for the first 5 minutes we were like pressing really high, probably trying to kill the game. And then I think we like took our foot off the gas and we were just like, do you think we're just trying to conserve energy, knowing that, you know, so. 2 games in 2 days, we got this game pretty much wrapped up, and that, you know, there's no need to really overexert ourselves when this game is pretty much over. And that's why I take cocaine after an hour and
it's not just that because the games are coming thick and fast, but it's also because these players just coming off the back of COVID as well. So I think that Conte, I think that was a direct instruction. I really do, and it was so great to see as well in the latter stages of the game. Kane going off, Son going off, these players getting some proper rest. So yeah, I do think it was an actual plan for the manager. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it makes sense that it was because of the situation, and also it's not like we're chasing the game, you know. We're even at 1-0 up, I think you've got to still try and get that second goal, but 2-0 and down to 10 men. I think you can kind of take, like, Palace were not threatening whatsoever. They didn't have period. Yeah, they just didn't have any sort of period where they were on top, and it seemed like, especially late on in the game, last 10 minutes or so, we were actually creating loads of chances at will. Like, they were struggling to contain us, and obviously they had 10 men, so that contributed. So, but we didn't even have to put extra effort to do that. So I think definitely we were just sitting back. There was a time where we were literally just playing it around, and like there was no pressure on us. They can't press us. Yeah. Like there's no reason to risk any injury or anything. So I think it probably was, to be honest, from Conte, kind of telling him, look, we're 2-0 up. Don't have to overcommit. Don't have to do anything. Just make sure we got this game dead. And once the third goal went in, that was a cherry on the cake, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But I just felt like so calm, so relaxed, sitting here watching it. I mean, I don't remember the last time I've been so relaxed watching a Spurs game. It was just so easy. It was so easy, especially like when they went down to 10 men, you just knew that was literally it. That was game over. There was no chance for Palace in that after that.
Getting 2 goals to run down 10 men. But if you talk about the game, I agree with you when you say first 20 minutes we were slow. I think Conte even acknowledged that in his press conference. And were we watching the press conference? Okay.
Oh no, I thought you said, have I watched it?
No, are we watching it?
Yeah, Sam, can you get that ready? And we'll play it after the match for a preview. Huh? It's anyway, just on the YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, so I think first 20 minutes were slow, and I actually thought having the back three that we did, Jaffet, Sancho, I actually thought Jaffet grew into the game fairly well, but I still didn't look entirely comfortable throughout the game in that position. But I just felt we became very, very predictable. And I actually said to Brian in the first 20 minutes, if we're not finding Son or Lucas in those pockets, like in those number 10 pockets they've been picking up really effectively. If we're not finding them, we look so predictable because Tanganga, when he's in that Davis position, he's not providing as much of an option. And when he is providing as much of an option, he's not as comfortable as Davis is in those positions. And he kept losing the ball quite frequently when he got there. And he just kind of wasn't giving accurate passes and stuff. And same with Sanchez on the other side, also grew into the game, to be fair to him. But
Sanchez was brilliant.
He was, but when he gets into those attacking positions or when all those positions in the final third, he's just not comfortable. He's doing his best, and I give him credit because I think he did a decent job, but he still is not looking very comfortable in those positions.
But I don't even think Ben Davis looks as comfortable in those
I think
positions.
he does.
I mean, like, how many times have we seen him get in those positions and fluff his lines, Ben Davis, so far?
I think he's looking very comfortable because I think he knows how to play there.
Positionally, he's looking comfortable. He's not looking comfortable when he gets on the ball in those positions.
No, I think he is. He's able to pick out pockets. He's given space, and he's able to pick out a pass. He's able to get into the box and have shots and stuff. Yeah, he's not the best shot on him, but I think he looks a lot more comfortable in possession than Tanganga and Sanchez did yesterday. And I actually think it hampered us for the first 20 minutes because I'm
not talking about in our area. I'm talking about in the opposite box.
I am. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about as well. And I don't think it hampered us too much yesterday, but it did in the opening exchanges. Made us very predictable. Like we couldn't really get the ball to them because I don't think we wanted to, and then it was hard for us to get the front three into the game. But once we got that goal, it was kind of a bit like how it happened. But Emerson with a great ball to Lucas and a great finish by Kane. And once that goal went in, the game opened up, and all of a sudden Palace struggled to contain us. And then 2 goals in 2 minutes, and that was it. It was game over. And we didn't actually need to have Tanganga and Sanchez, although they did later in the game. We actually didn't need them to contribute too much in the final third, but in the end of the day,
Sanchez was like a fourth striker up there. He was just getting up time and time again, and he really took that kind of Ben Davis role, didn't he? From
definitely.
The other side.
He was more going forward than Tanganga was on the other side, and I think that makes sense because Tanganga on the left, he has to cut inside, and then we have to whipping across us. Yeah. And I think Sanchez clearly playing a lot of confidence yesterday. You saw that, and that led to him being a bit more confident on the ball when he was there. I still didn't think there was much composure and stuff like that, but he was able to play a few passes, and obviously had that shot near the end, near the penalty spot, where that would have gone in. That would have been a nice goal.
Brilliant goal.
Yeah, so that would have been good. But I still think if we had a real, first of all, Romero, for example, much more comfortable on the ball. But if we had, and same goes for the wing backs as well. If we had wing backs who are super comfortable in the final third at taking people on and getting quality into the box, would be a really serious team. Really serious, competing for big things.
That's something that they can learn, or it's something that's ingrained in you? What is it about our fullbacks?
When it comes to Emerson and Reguilon, I think there's a lot of scope for them to improve. They're still quite young. Emerson's 22, and Reguilon's 23, isn't he? So 24. So they're still really young, and they've got a lot of scope to improve. Sanchez, he's 25 now, so yes, he can improve. But difference between Sanchez and Emerson is Emerson's been a fullback by trade, so those are things he's always going to be working on. Sanchez is a centre back, so he's never had to work on that kind of side of his game before, has he?
Yeah.
He's always been concentrating on being a really good defender, positioning wise. Under Mourinho, he was always being a guy who's getting things out the box and just blocking things. That's what he's been specialised in. But under Conte, he has to develop this other side of his game, to a degree where he can actually be really effective in the final third. Will he ever develop that to be as effective as someone else could be if we signed them? I don't know. Emerson, I think, potentially could. I don't know about Sanchez in that kind of facet.
I think at the end of the day, we know Sanchez, as soon as Romero's back anyway, he's going to be out of the team, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it might take a bit because it's a big injury, even to get to match fitness. But I think he's doing a good job, Sanchez. I'm not trying to criticise him.
I still worry about him on the ball. He's still very worrying every time he gets on the ball.
I don't want to criticise him because he had a good game, and defensively again, he's doing some really good work. When we're under pressure on a counter, really doing really good stuff. He's doing mopping up and making sure that, because he's the one with real pace at the back, he's making sure that putting out any fire that he sees, and he's doing some really good stuff. It's just that in this system, that Conte plays, especially yesterday when there's more emphasis on him to go forward because Davis wasn't there. Like we need that player to really be comfortable playing in and around the penalty area, making passes or having some quality into the box. And apart from late in the game when there was space opened up because they're chasing a 3-0 defeat, that he still just doesn't seem, I don't know, it doesn't seem comfortable. And he's never been a centre back who's been comfortable on the ball, and that's been something that we've always noticed about him. So whether he can ever be the centre back that's going to be perfect for this specific system, I mean, I've got doubts about that, but you never know.
I know I've got doubts about it as well. And even you saw in the early stages of the game yesterday how I thought in the first 10 minutes I thought he looked poor actually, and I was worried about him yesterday. But he grew into the game massively, and it was a really good performance. A few other players I want to talk about. Ollie Skipp, man.
Yeah,
what a performance. Week in, week out, this guy is producing these performances now. I mean, the guy is just absolutely insane. The guy is like, what, 21 years old, 20 years old? He plays like he's 30 years old. I'm saying it every week. And like, he's so mature on that pitch. And he's looking like a similar level to Højbjerg already.
He does things where, like, where other players, like, would panic and go for a 50-50 lunge or
so composed,
but he knows exactly. Like there was one moment where the ball gets fizzed into him in the middle of the park, and there's a Palace player right in front of him, like sliding to intercept it, and like other players might have like quickly gone for the ball or like try and get a tackle in it, but he literally notices that the Palace player isn't going to get there, and he kind of just steps across, allows the ball to get past him, and then he's on the half turn already, looking to go forward, and all of a sudden that Palace player is taken out of the game. And like he does things like that, things that go unnoticed. It's not going to be a match of the day highlight for that, but when you're at the game and you're watching it live, you can notice these things. And he does these things time and time again throughout the game. Like his awareness for a player of his age is exceptional, absolutely
really
exceptional.
None, man.
It's exceptional. He kind of knows. He scans all the time. He knows where players are. He knows exactly where to be. I think under Conte he is taking his game on even further. I mean, he was one of our better players under Nuno, and I think under Conte now he's becoming a real special talent in the position. If he was a forward player like a Foden or a Mount, like people would be like raving about him. But because he's defensive, defensive midfielder, it takes a lot more to get a bit of credit. But I think he's one of those players who you don't fully appreciate until he's playing for your team. And I think because we get to see Skipp, his every action every week, we can fully appreciate how well he's actually doing. And I think this boy right now is one of the up-and-coming talents in the Premier League. I really believe that in his position.
Of course he is. I think 100%. I mean, the things that he's producing on a football pitch, I mean, I felt like he was being played into trouble by the likes of Sanchez, potentially Dyer, in the early stages of the game, and he did lose the ball a few times. But as the game progressed, he was actually receiving the same kind of ball with players quite close to him, but the way he was turning away from it, the way he had the vision, he has like eyes at the back of his head to actually spin the right direction. I mean, the guy is just absolutely, he's a talent, man, and I'm so happy that he's producing these kind of levels on a football pitch for us, because he's just outclassing any midfielder he's coming up against at the moment.
Yeah, and he's so hard to get the ball off as well. Like because his awareness is so strong, like he knows where to turn and which direction a player's coming from, and he always keeps the ball away from them. And he's press resistant in a different way to like say Moussa Dembele was. Moussa Dembele, like it wasn't about his awareness. He was just he didn't really care where a player was coming from. He can hold them off. Yeah. But Skipp, because he doesn't have that kind of strength, he has to be aware not to let anyone get too close, and he never does. He very rarely does, really rarely, and it's really, really impressive. And it must be very frustrating to play against when you're a centre mid from the opposition team, and you never seem to be getting close to him, and he always seems to have time on the ball as well. The only problem I'll have, not with him specifically, but with him and Højbjerg together again, which I don't think they did terribly again. But it's just, again, the similar complaint I would have is there was a bit of a lack of, especially in the opening exchanges, first half an hour or so, a bit of a lack of creative spark between them two when really trying to penetrate the Palace defence. They seemed a bit non-threatening with their use of the ball. But they didn't need to be, because Lucas, Son and Kane and the fullbacks were doing all the damage. So that's kind of, I think that maybe that was the plan, because if it was, it really worked. And, Emerson was getting in time and time again. Not as much Reguilon, but definitely Emerson. So maybe that was the plan. But, if we had someone else in that position, like an Ndombele or Lo Celso, one of those two, someone with their quality, then maybe they would have found more opportunities to open up Palace.
And that's kind of what my worry kind of was coming into the game when I saw the lineup. It was like, I thought we moved past from Skipp and Højbjerg.
I was about to say, what do you think of, we had a Liverpool game where we had Winks and Ndombele and Dele, and all of a sudden we had three in there where they're not the most combative like Højbjerg and Skipp, which has been one of their main criticisms, but the technical ability they were showing, like the through balls they were getting to Kane and Son, like were absolutely brilliant, and it's something that they were playing passes out Højbjerg and Skipp, like I'm not sure on how regularly they would be able to pull off passes like Winks and Dele and Ndombele were pulling off. So then all of a sudden, and we weren't defensively like open that much against Liverpool. So it got you thinking, okay, maybe even in this system, we could accommodate a more technical player in the middle without being too exposed. That game got us thinking about that. But ever since that game, since Højbjerg and Skipp have been back, he's put them straight back in, hasn't he? So is that something that's maybe not disappointed you, but you got you thinking, like, why have we put both of them straight back in? Like maybe we could be using Dele or Winks or Ndombele a bit more. Yeah,
I was thinking that when the lineups got released yesterday, I was sure it wasn't going to be a Skipp and Højbjerg middle two. I was sure, but it was. But it just got me thinking that maybe, games are coming thick and fast at the moment. I think maybe tomorrow night we're going to see that three in midfield again, or potentially Winks is definitely going to be in there, but alongside who? I'm not too sure. I mean, is he really going to play Skipp and Højbjerg again the 3 times in the space of a week? I'm not too sure about that. I think it also depends on who we're playing, what kind of system we're going to play. I think different games call for different systems, right? And the Liverpool game, that was a deliberate tactic to come up against that Liverpool side to stifle them. And I think that when we come up against different sides, Conte is going to come up with different ways to beat these certain teams. So it's not worrying me too much, but I did want to see that midfield 3, and I do kind of want to see that more than that middle 2, to be honest.
But it didn't have to be that 3 specifically, but maybe he could have done
I'm just talking about the formation.
Yeah, but yeah. Maybe could he have done, like, I guess maybe with the 2 in there. I guess it's different when you got 3 in there because you got the extra body. You could maybe afford to have those players be a bit more technical, because even if they do get caught out, you've got another body in there to cover for them, even if that body who's covering for him isn't the most technical, at least he's there to cover ground. But when you're playing at 3-4-3 like we like to in other games, where we add an extra attacker in, maybe he feels like if we don't have 2 players there who are able to recover a lot of ground like Højbjerg and Skipp can, maybe we are just far too open in that formation. And we saw that, to be honest, against even against West Ham, where even though we had Skipp and Højbjerg, the moments where we were getting caught out, especially, beginning of the second half, like, we were very open, weren't we? Yeah. And then he had to add the extra body in there in Winks. So maybe it's just a case of playing to your opposition, thinking what is best for each team. And when we have this formation, maybe he just doesn't trust Dele, Winks, or maybe not as much Winks, but definitely not Dele or Ndombele in that position, does he?
Yeah, I think, maybe more. Look, I think we'll see as the season progresses, because I think we'll see a lot of different combinations as the season progresses. You've got to remember, and he's only been here for 6 games.
What I would say I would like about what I'm seeing right now is whoever comes in, like before under Nuno and Mourinho, we were so dependent on personnel. We were so dependent on these specific players in these positions to work for the system to work. Like, for example, under Mourinho, when we had our full team, a lot of the times we were actually like pretty good. Like things like we'd play well, but then as soon as 1 or 2 players were missing injury, all of a sudden it would all fall apart. Like it was just very. We very specifically needed these players. But what I love about what I'm seeing at the moment is that whoever comes in right now, whatever player comes into the system, a bit like how you see for City or for Liverpool, whatever player comes in right now into the system, it's like we're replacing a cog in the system rather than a player for player.
100%.
And it's like that system's still working the same way. Everyone knows how the system works. We're playing towards a system of play rather than playing towards get the ball to Kane and Son and get them to do some magic. It's like we're getting, for example, when Bergwijn and Gil come on, they're still getting in those same positions that Kane and Lucas were getting in. it's like they know where to be on the pitch as part of the system, not to be because of who they are.
And that's what kind of what I was saying when Jose Mourinho was our manager. We need these players, because a whole team is like a cog. And if one piece of the cog is missing, everything falls apart, right?
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case under Jose Mourinho, because at the end of the day, under Jose, our only plan was to get it to Kane and Son and see what they can do. But now, even if Kane and Son have an off day, we've got the cogs in motion. And we're working as a team, the whole team together. And it's just unbelievable to see. And like you say, if one cog comes out, we replace it with another cog. It's unbelievable to see. And every single person in this squad now is literally there and fighting for its place in the team.
And it's so vital as well, because I feel like when a player gets under Mourinho, when a player had to come in and prove himself, it's like, okay, you need to play well and you need to show individually why you should stay in the team. Whereas now under Conte, it's like, it's not you have to play well, it's you have to do this. You have to do this function. And that's a lot easier to get your head around. And like, it's a lot easier to like be able to say to yourself, it's not like I need to play well. It's like, I need to, before this role for the team, I need to do these certain things. If I can do them, then I have got a shot of staying in the first team, rather than I just need to play well and prove myself like under Jose.
Exactly.
And that's the most vital thing. And that's why it's giving the players more confidence. I feel they know what they're doing. That each one is being drilled into exactly what they have to do for each position to the nth degree, and it's really paying off on the pitch. And it shows the elite management of Conte. It really does.
So quick as well. Nobody expected
6 games. He's only been in charge for 6 games. How mad is that?
Yeah, he's turned everything around. And we were talking about Skipp, and I think he was a very close second for man of the match. But who I gave the man of the match, and who a lot of people gave man of the match to, was Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura was absolutely everywhere yesterday. 2 assists, a goal. Could have had more as well. The guy was absolutely scintillating yesterday. I thought a couple of times he should have left it for Reguilon. Reguilon was
that happened a couple of times in the end. That was quite funny.
But I think that Lucas, he was trying some spectacular things when he should have left it for Reguilon as well. But look, at the end of the day, when someone's in that sort of confidence, like, look, do what you need to do. But he won us the game yesterday pretty much with 2 brilliant assists, a brilliant goal as well.
Yeah.
I mean, how the hell was he beating Anderson like that in the air?
And
how?
You saw how he he got ahead, like he was behind Anderson, but he just had the will to get the ball, didn't he? And he really had that like determination that no one was stopping him. And we've all know, if anyone's been watching Lucas, we all know he has a great leap on him, and he showed that yesterday. Despite his lack of height, he has a spring that can outjump a lot of centre backs. We've seen it. How many headers he wins from goal kick?
Times.
Like he wins that. You're always thinking like, this guy is so short. How is he winning so many headers? But
corners as well.
He has incredible leap. And ever since Conte's come in, I think he's been great. Because, like, I don't know, I don't want to jinx it, but hopefully we're starting to see some consistent performances. We have seen him go through good spells and he goes through bad spells. So I'm hoping this isn't just a good spell and then he'll go back to being inconsistent. But, against Leeds, I remember we called him out specifically for he was our main threat. Against Norwich, I thought he was brilliant as well. And again, yesterday, I thought he was by far our brightest spark. I don't think that first goal, if anyone else is running, even if Son's running onto that ball, I don't think that goal happens, that first goal, because I thought Emerson actually, the weight of pass was decent, but I don't think anyone else in our squad but Lucas catches that
pass. I agree. When I first saw that pass,
I thought he overhit it. Yeah. I thought he overhit it, but Lucas, because of his searing pace, like no one is catching up with him, and he also had the presence of mind to lay it off on a plate for Kane as well. That opened the game up, and then he was involved in the build up to the second goal as well, and then he finished it off. And it was a great ball for Son. All he had to do was just guide the ball into the far corner.
He pretty much won us that game in that 5-minute spell.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, that's what he did. And it's like they couldn't contain him. And that's what he can do. He's so sharp and so quick. It's like if he can turn it on like that, he's in full flight. He's nearly impossible to stop. But
it really is.
Always the question's been, how do we, get that from him on a consistent basis? But I think, everyone's been saying, get him in a 10, get him in the central position. But I actually think this position here, obviously he's in a kind of 10 central, but like central slightly to the right, not too far to the right where he's too far out of the game and like he's on the edge of the box, but like on this right hand side where he's in the width of the penalty area, but he's still central like everyone wants him. Perfect for him.
Any further right to that though, he gets lost.
We don't need him there because we've got Emerson there overlapping.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Any further than right than there, he gets lost in the game, and like going down blind alleys like he used to. I mean, this is the perfect position for him here, or even a bit more centrally, but anywhere around that kind of area. And he's always moving around anyway. So I think Lucas Moura is thriving right now. Absolutely.
And
thriving.
I think as well, because Lucas, Son and Kane actually been playing with each other for a long time now, you know, they know each other's game very well. And obviously under Nuno, the attacking patterns weren't really there to get the best out of that connection. But under Conte, all of a sudden, as soon as those patterns are there, and that's the system is placed where everyone knows where they are, like, it's becoming very, very easy for them three to link up really effectively. And we're seeing that time and time again. It's not just the defence, which is definitely, and we'll get to the defence in a sec, that's definitely improved under Conte, but it's just, we are creating so many chances. Again, yesterday was, I think, 5th game in a row now. We've got 2+ XG.
2.6, yeah.
It was 2.6, so nearly 3. Yeah. Like, we're getting so many opportunities, man. I think Kane, Son and Lucas are doing exceptionally well together to link up and create opportunities for each other and set each other up. And it's a delight to see. There was one point yesterday, they were just playing one-touch football in between each other, and Palace found it really, really hard to deal with.
You really see the confidence is growing within the squad, can't you? Belief, confidence. You can see that they're getting they're getting it all back, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're getting it all back. You can see there's excitement around the whole club now, on the pitch, in the stands. I mean, this guy Conte has literally reformed this football club in like 5 weeks. It's nuts.
Yeah, and as Conte said, we have to take advantage of the confidence that there is in the team. Because, and I think that's absolutely right, because despite the fact we all know there are players that need improving and or signings we need to make within this squad to really get to where we need to be. But when a team is confident like we are at the moment, it can actually overperform to their level. Obviously, that kind of like a bit like last season under Jose, like. Because we started the season so well, we had this confidence, right? And we were winning games, and we were seeing out games 1-0, 2-0, and we were on this high. And only when we, got a couple of bad results, like at Anfield, then it all started to break down because you start to lose that belief. But once you have that belief, like, you can actually, even if your squad isn't as strong as you think it is, they can overperform with the belief they have before it kind of
what Pochettino
means out. Yeah, 100%. And we overperformed under Pochettino because the players we had weren't as good as how he made them look. And that's what we got to do under Conte before we can actually improve the team. While that's happening, we have to overperform in the meantime. And that's what I think Conte is trying to get at. Like, look, we've got this belief now. At the moment, we're not fearing anyone. That's the truth. Look how we played against Liverpool. Once that performance showed that we don't need to fear anyone. And I think that has instilled this belief that now...
I actually think that Liverpool game gave us that belief.
Yeah.
I think before then, we were still feeling out everything. Conte was still working things out.
You weren't sure if it was the opposition.
I think that Liverpool game is actually a bit of a sliding doors moment.
Because you weren't sure before that game. It was like, we only playing well because we only beat Brentford and Norwich, or are we actually improving? But I think it's undoubtedly now. You can't deny. There's been massive improvements.
I do think the fixtures have been favourable for us, definitely, because 5 home games and 1 away game. Yes, yeah. Obviously one of them was to Liverpool, but every other game apart from the Liverpool game, you would still expect us to win those games, wouldn't you?
You got to win them, don't you?
Yeah, of course you got to win them. But even under Nuno, I mean, we wouldn't expect to win them as resoundingly as we did, but you would still go into those games expecting to win, or hoping to win at least.
To be fair, our home form under Nuno wasn't terrible. It was only against United and Chelsea we got battered. Yeah. The other games we won, didn't we?
Yeah.
But, against, as we always said, against Watford, we won, but, we didn't play anywhere near as well as we played the past few games.
That's what I'm saying, though. But we got the points on the board, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Under Nuno.
Yeah. But now these performances are different class.
Yeah, of course.
Different class. And there's also, not only the performance is really great, like, I can only see the trajectory going this way. Like, I'm looking at this team, and I kind of feel like we haven't unlocked, like, even a third of the true potential of what we got in our locker.
It's only 6 games in. How is it possible to unlock more than that?
I know. I'm just saying. Like, I don't see these players playing at the best they could be, even in this system right now. They're playing really well, and we're winning games. But I feel like we've got gears to go through.
We do have gears, but as well, it's also, you have to temper expectations a bit, because we've seen stuff go really well before. I know it's a different situation and it looks a lot better now than it did under Jose, but as soon as one thing went wrong under Jose, it all fell apart. And I want to know, and that's going to test the mentality of this team when something inevitably does go wrong, when one game does go wrong. What's going to happen after that?
That's the question. That's always the big question when a team's on a good run, especially a run all like where we haven't had a bad run. Like this is like he's only had a good one, so that's always the big question. And it's gonna be interesting how we react if we have a bad defeat or a result which we didn't expect, like a home loss to a team in the bottom half or something, and how we react to that. It's going to be very, very interesting. Just hope it never comes, but it will come eventually.
It will. Look, it's inevitable.
Yeah, of course it will come, but it'll be very important to see how we react.
Unless we go unbeaten for the rest of the season, we end up winning the league this year.
Yeah, imagine. But that's what happened in his first season at Chelsea.
Yeah, I know.
Look, that ain't going to happen. We're just too far behind. But
we're not even that far behind if we win our games in hand. 7 points at this stage.
It'll be 9 points, I think.
Oh, is it 9? I thought it was 7.
If we win our games in hand, it's 9.
Oh, is it 9? I thought it was 7.
We're 18 points behind City right now.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, I think that's astronomical. You know what I mean? Even if we win every single game from now to the end of the season, I still don't think we win the league.
Really? No, I think we would if we win every single game.
I don't know. City is strong.
You don't think
man.
City will drop 3 games from now to the end of the season? Well, it has to be 4 games with a goal difference.
Who knows, man? That's not guaranteed. Man. I don't think that's guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed, but if we're saying we're gonna, this is completely hypothetical. We don't think this is gonna happen, by the way. But let's say we beat Man City, so that's 1 game. They can lose to a Liverpool, they can lose to a Man United. You know, they got hard games.
I'm just saying. My point being is fine. Maybe we will win the league. My point being, even if we did win every game from now to the end of the season,
foregone conclusion.
Yeah, it's not even then a foregone conclusion. So you can't even look at that. But with Chelsea as well winning yesterday, that puts
let's put this talk to bed, because we're not even it's not even in our thinking titles and all that kind of stuff.
But top
4 I think is well
within our reach. We just got to make sure, especially on Tuesday with Arsenal game called off, that's 1 game in hand. We're clawing back now, so we just got to make sure that we get the job done on Tuesday, and that's what I'm looking for. But look, another great performance, and I think it was perfect. And then it gives Davis a chance to rest. He's going to come in tomorrow, and I think that, again, players coming in did the job required.
Yeah, definitely. So that is our match review from the 3-0 win against Crystal Palace last night. There's actually been a bit of an update from Ali Gold this morning. I'll get into it in a minute, but let's start off. Let's play the press conference from yesterday for you guys.
Hi everyone. So we will start with a couple of questions
through?
about today's game, and then we'll move on to previewing Southampton. So for Southampton, we'll go to a broadcast section that's got a 12 p.m. embargo tomorrow, and then move on to a written section for 10:30 p.m. embargo tomorrow night. But let's start with the live section for today's game. Sammy Mockbell, please.
No, I can't hear it. Is it the TV? Is the TV?
Hi, Antonio.
Hey.
You must have been delighted with the performance today. And can I ask you also a question about momentum? At Chelsea, you're part of a team who had plenty of momentum in that first season. Do you feel that you're building up a similar sense of momentum with this Tottenham side at the moment?
Where's the remote?
No, I think that it is different. I don't like to compare.
No, it's not.
Different situations. Also because.
No, just play it on
too much.
Yeah, we did.
Too big difference with my experience in the past, and also because I remember very well that I have started the season, and when you start the season.
Hi everyone. So we will start with a couple of questions about today's game, and then we'll move on to previewing Southampton. So for Southampton, we'll go to a broadcast section that's got a 12 p.m. embargo tomorrow, and then move on to a written section for 10:30 p.m. embargo tomorrow night. But let's start with the live section for today's game. Sammy Mockbell, please.
Hi, Antonio.
Hey.
You must have been delighted with the performance today. And can I ask you also a question about momentum? At Chelsea, you were part of a team who had plenty of momentum in that first season. Do you feel that you're building up a similar sense of momentum with this Tottenham side at the moment?
No, I think that this is different. I don't like to compare different situations. Also because too much, too big difference with my experience in the past, and yeah, also because I remember very well that I have started the season, and when you start the season, you have the possibility to work with your players, to also to make decision about players, and these are different, and for sure we have to try to continue to improve, to exploit the confidence that is going to improve. But we know very well, I know very well that we have a lot of job to do, and it's good to get 3 points. It's good to score 3 goals with your 3 strikers. It's good to keep another clean sheet, but we have to know very well that we have to work very hard to improve the situation, and as I always like to tell, and head low and run.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sammy. Alistair Gold, please.
Hi there, Antonio. Congratulations. Just wanted to ask you about it looks like there's a real growing understanding between Lucas Moura and Emerson on the right-hand side. I just wondered if you could tell us a bit more about that and how they're linking up on the pitch now.
Yeah, but we are talking about 2 Brazilian players, and for sure to be the same nationality could help them. But yeah, I happy because they have a good link, a good connection, and but for sure Emerson and has big space for improvement. Emerson is very young, and he has to continue to work. But in that side, to have Lucas Moura and this good connection could be good for the whole team.
Okay.
Thanks, Ali. Dave Heitner, please.
Antonio, can you hear me? Sorry. Antonio, Lucas, just a little bit more specifically on Lucas. He's got 2 assists, scored a good goal, but it's his pace that's in the transition that's really helping to open up teams, don't you think?
I think we have the strikers that they are very good, and to receive the ball and then to create something important, to make assist. But at the same time, we have also good strikers when they have space in front of us to attack. We are trying to improve both the situations, because when you find a team that stay in their half pitch, and you have to be good to use more quality, not run, but to use your quality to make a good pass, to beat the man in a space that is not so large. But as I said to you before, for us it's great to have this type of the strikers, but it's the same for Steven. Bergwijn is another player with this characteristic, and we have to continue to work and to improve these links with the strikers. And today I'm happy because they scored, and for sure they have to tell thanks to our team because the rest of the team worked very, very hard to also to create chance, and then they scored. I'm very happy for them.
Okay, we'll move on to the parts to preview Southampton, please, to start.
All right, guys, that was Antonio's press conference. Nice, short and sweet. But I get from that definitely going to be an embargoed one for today. So I'm not sure when that's going to be released, but usually the embargoed ones get released quite late. So I'm sure that'll be with you around 5 o'clock. Any takeaways from that for you?
Nothing too groundbreaking. You're talking about the link up between Lucas and Emerson, and that's something that's definitely improved. That obviously led to the first 2 goals in a way, because Emerson played it to Lucas, and Lucas was feeding the play out wide to Emerson as well for the second goal, which we scored. And I think they definitely are getting a better understanding the more they played together, and that's something that's really improving, and I'm liking what I see on that side. And in terms of just the strikers playing together, I think he's absolutely right in terms of especially for the past 2 years since we've playing under peak Pochettino, we've struggled to really break teams down when they've had a settled backline, and I feel like we've not had a proper plan to attack teams unless we're attacking on the counter or in the transitional phase. So I think him working on that has definitely made big improvements in this attacking side of our game, and the things that Son and Lucas and Kane are doing in the middle of the park. We're adding more quality when they've got defenders in and around them has been very crucial. And even I still think we've got many steps to go, but right now, we're looking dangerous, even when teams look settled.
The main thing for me is just that we just look like we're going in the right direction. I mean, we're nowhere near the completed article yet or the finished article yet, but the point is that we're moving in the right direction. Everyone now is on side, and it's just a great thing to see, isn't it? It's just a great thing to see after about a couple of years, maybe even more, in the wilderness.
Yeah.
So yeah, signs are looking good. A few super chats here. One from Dark Sun G21 saying Conte made our squad a unit and has a plan B. There's quite a few more. Let me just try and find them. Dark Sun G again says Nuno ruined our goal difference in 6 games, while Conte saved our goal difference in the same amount of games. Even against Watford and Newcastle, we barely won. Now we can batter teams. And that's spot on. For the first time this season, since 3rd game in, we've got a positive goal difference this season.
Yeah, it's been a while since we last played Palace.
Yeah,
actually, funnily enough.
That's true, actually. Vasif Mamadov says, Alistair Gold says that a number 9 left-sided centre-back and a new right wing-back. Can you see us spending 75 million on Vlahovic, 30 million on Adama and 20 million on a centre-back?
I'd like to say, I think 30 and 20 on a centre-back and a wing-back, definitely. I can see us spending that. Can I see us? It's the big question. Are we really going to push back and get Vlahovic for that amount of money? That is the one I'm very doubtful about. I can't really see us doing that. I'd love to be proved wrong. But I agree with the assessment of, if that's what Ali Gold is saying.
Shall I read what Ali Gold has said just before we get into it?
Sure.
There's a few updates from here. One on Kane, Lloris and signings. And the first one on Harry Kane is that both those within Harry Kane's camp and those within Tottenham maintain that contract talks have not begun yet for Harry Kane. He says that on Hugo Lloris, he says talks over a new contract for Hugo Lloris are yet to move in the right direction, but there is a believed willingness from all parties to extend the Frenchman's stay in North London. And the one on the transfers is the current feeling is that the January targets could include a new right back, left-sided centre-back, and to provide a competition with Ben Davis and a natural number 9 to allow Kane to be rotated when needed and provide him with extra support up front. So I was talking on the fan show with people yesterday, and these are the 3 positions that everyone's talking about.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely right in terms of the most crucial positions in our squad that need urgent looking at. I think someone to compete with Emerson on the right-hand side is number 1, because they're so these positions at wing back are so taxing on them because of how much energy these wing backs have to use. That rotation is very, very important, I think. If we, obviously now we're out of Europe, it makes it a bit more simpler that we don't have to rotate as much, but we're still in the other domestic cups. So as long for the next few months, for the next couple months or so, the rotation in that position is going to be really crucial. So we definitely need
our games in hand as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to need definitely someone could be Emerson, because I don't know if Doherty, who although he did okay against West Ham, I don't.
It's just okay though, isn't it?
Exactly. I would want someone who can really come in and do an amazing job. Because on the left side now, Session's stepping up. We've got him and Reguilon, so that's okay. Left-sided centre-back, we only have Ben Davis, and we saw without him, even as you can see with the other positions, Romero's out. We have Sanchez coming in. If Dyer's out, Rodon's there. But if Davis is out, we're kind of trying to fit someone in, whereas we don't have anyone natural in that position. So definitely left-sided centre-back would be a priority, as well as Davis is doing. We need someone else there. And obviously a striker. Those are the only three positions we kind of don't have any cover for, in a way.
I was going to ask you this. I was asking quite a few people this on the fan show last night about, we've been kind of in acceptance as a fan base, especially us here, about who we kind of need to get rid of in January at the end of the season. Has that opinion changed for you at all with the emergence of Winks and, all these players playing really well, Ben Davis? Sanchez.
Yeah, you got to rethink it when players are playing at a different level. I think Winks will. I think Winks definitely is a player now who is going to be. I can't see him leaving for a cut price. Definitely not in January. If he's gonna leave, which even now doesn't look likely at all. But if he is going to leave, it'll have to be for a lot more than you would have thought in the summer. In the summer, it was probably available for 25, but his one performance is probably shot about 10 million after that performance. To be honest, not even joking. And he also, he's young, English, so he's a player who's gonna command. With that English tax with a fee, so he's not going to be easy for him to leave. Davis obviously crucial to our play now, so he can't leave. So yeah, Doherty I think must be still available. Dele, I still think, even though he had a good performance, he's a bit more expendable potentially than those other players. So I think he's still more likely to leave than anyone else. But even him, he's obviously playing well, so he's less likely. But I still think right now, he's not the perfect player for the system we have. So,
what about players like Ndombele and Lo Celso? I mean, Lo Celso wasn't even on the bench yesterday.
Yeah, they look even more likely to leave than the others, to be honest, at this point. I mean, Ndombele came on yesterday, didn't do particularly great. Wasn't terrible, wasn't great. And Lo Celso, yeah, very weird because he was talking about him in his presser, and then he didn't include him in the squad at all. So maybe he's still not getting over those injury problems, which has been plagued him his whole time here at Tottenham, which is really worrying.
Probably one as well.
And Rodon's one who could potentially leave. But these are players who people weren't desperate to leave, who just thought maybe could leave because of their situation. But But players like Winks and Davis, people were desperate to get rid of. But now I think and Dele as well. Now things potentially have changed. Now Conte's in, and it just goes to show what a difference a proper coach on the training pitch can make to a players, because these players for a while looked useless, and all of a sudden they're looking like good players again.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. All right, let's move on to the match preview. We play Southampton tomorrow at St Mary's, 3:00 kickoff. How are you looking at this game? I mean, you've got to be confident going into this one.
One sec. Actually, just as you say, just as we'll talk about
pause
this,
on the match preview.
Just one sec. Jonathan, as we were talking about Lo Celso, Jonathan just tweeted out saying Giovanni Lo Celso missed yesterday's win over Palace after he picked up an injury in the warm down after West Ham.
How can you pick up an injury in a warm down for a game you didn't even play?
That's not good, is it? Because he picked up another injury means it's going to take him a bit of time to go over it again, as he was just getting back from another injury. So
Gio Anderton strikes again.
I think the presser must have come out because they're all talking about it now. Anyway, once it comes out, we'll give it to you. Southampton preview.
Right, let's bring it up again. So, Southampton preview at St Mary's tomorrow. I mean, you got to be confident for going into it tomorrow, surely.
Yeah, I think especially first of all we got a good record against Southampton. I think we've played against. I remember we played against them. I remember it was Boxing Day maybe a few years ago. We beat them 4-1 at St Mary's. That was under Poch. That was a good day. But I think we've got a good record against them. I think the way they play is going to be perfect to how we play to combat that. In terms of they're so open all the time, they're such a hard-working, pressing team who are very intense, and they like to play 4-2-4, don't they? They like to be really attacking this, but they leave so many gaps going the other way. So definitely, that's a good thing in our point of view. They had a very hard-fought, grueling fixture against West Ham in which they just scraped it 3-2, but fair play. Look, really good win for them, and that shows that they're no mugs and they can get good results. I actually think they're a decent team. Look, I know they're very open and like they're near the bottom, but they've had decent results this season. They've given good teams good goes. They drew away at City, they drew to United, they beat West Ham yesterday, so like they can get a result. But I just think first of all they got a really paper thin squad. When they got their first 11 there, they can be a little bit better. But once now, 2 games in 2 days, especially how they play, which is really physically taxing, and the fact that we can make a few changes potentially and bring some players in, freshen things up, whereas their squad isn't as strong. You got to say, got to be confident of getting a result. But that's not to say the only way. The one way I can see us not getting a result is if we have a slow start and Southampton have their tails up, because they like to use a lot of energy very early on. They get very tired come later on in the game. So, but if they get a 1-0 lead or something, or a 2-0 lead, and we're off it in the first half, we could give ourselves too much to do in the second half when they get tired. Yeah. They can be dangerous, Southampton. They can be.
I think that if they go 1-0 up early, it's actually not the biggest problem, because as you say, they do tire quite quickly in games, and especially with this taxing fixture list, I expect that the second half will be the time where we earn our money.
You just don't want to give yourselves too much to do.
Of course. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
You don't want to go 1-0 down, but I don't think it would be the absolute end of the world.
No, it wouldn't. But it's how many times you've seen you concede the first goal and then you spend so much energy trying to get back in the game, and you get one goal, but you don't haven't given yourself time to get the second goal. That stuff can happen. So you just got to make sure that we turn up to the game proper. Don't even in the early, we have to weather that storm that they usually give early in the game. You saw it even against Arsenal. They got battered 3-0 by Arsenal, but in the first 20 minutes, it was all Southampton, and they could have got 1 or 2 goals. But Arsenal weathered the storm. Once they did, it was easy, and that's what we got to do basically against them. Especially, it's even more so in these circumstances where they're playing 2 games in 2 days. Even more so now that's they're going to get really tired. They're going to get really tired
yesterday because they kept getting pegged back by West Ham and kept taking the lead in the latter stages of the game as well. So I think they're going to be really tired coming into this.
Yeah, I think so as well. But that's the thing. I think in the early stages, the tiredness, you're not going to be feeling it straight away.
Yeah,
but once
it'll take to the second half at least.
Probably, but I think that's when we should punish them, and I'm definitely backing us for the win tomorrow. And if we do get that, we'll be 3 points off top 4 with 2 games in hand, and the table looks really good at that. When all of a sudden,
looking good right now.
Yeah, looking okay, but still 6. I know 3 games in hand, but still 6 points off top 4 is a bit too far away.
I know. My liking. 3 games in hand.
It is, but you need to win those games.
And Arsenal got Man City next. Don't forget.
I know, but we still need to win those games. So, once it starts looking like 3 points behind, it's okay, we're really getting there. A point ahead of West Ham with 2 games in hand. Now that looks tasty.
Yeah.
So
West Ham, everyone's been giving them so much credit this season, and nobody's given Spurs any credit whatsoever, and we're above them with 2 games in hand.
It's because it's all changed. We didn't deserve a lot of credit under Nuno, but now it's all changed, hasn't it? And all of a sudden, Tottenham are looking a serious outfit again, which is really crucial. But in terms of Southampton, let me see if there's any injuries they picked up yesterday. But they've had what's his name, Adam Armstrong. He's been out for a bit now, hasn't he? Broja's been playing really well. Shea Adams, for some reason, they haven't been playing that much. I don't know why.
He just came into form as well.
Yeah, he's in and out of the team. I'm trying to get what their lineup was. I'm trying to get a sense of what kind of team they're going to be playing versus us. But I just know that the Southampton team the squad isn't that strong, that either they rotate and they're putting significantly weaker players on, or they don't rotate and the players are going to get very, very tired.
I've got it here. They've got 4 injuries. McCarthy's out. Jack Stevens, Nathan Teller, and some kids. I think that is Linkanko Silveria.
Oh, so Armstrong actually came on yesterday, and Adam. Oh, they both came on. That's actually not good for us. It means they're probably both going to start tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. And they've only got these 3 players out: McCarthy, Stephen, and Teller.
But yeah, McCarthy out, which is good. It means Fraser Forster's coming in, and he's been rubbish for a while now.
Has he not been good?
He's
No?
not been very good. Look, that's actually quite bad news when it comes to their strikers, because it means with them coming on, coming off the bench,
Spend that much energy.
yeah, that's actually not good. That means they're going to definitely start. They're going to be a much bigger threat on Tuesday. But from that point of view, it's not good. But like and they've also got like Walker Peters, Livramento.
Livramento, I've been very impressed with this.
2
season.
fullbacks really strong. And they're very crucial to how they
There's another
play.
one on loan from Chelsea, isn't he?
I think they bought him.
Oh,
One of them, Broja and Livramento, both from Chelsea. One they bought, one's a loan.
Right.
I think Livramento, they bought and Broja's on loan, I think. Obviously, Ward-Prowse, brilliant centre midfielder. We have to watch out giving away stupid set pieces.
That's for sure.
Because he could lethal from that. But other than that, they got Redmond, Walcott have been off form for a while. And their squad, if they bring players in, for the players who didn't start, their bench against West Ham: Long, Adam Armstrong, Shea Adams, Peru, Armstrong, Diallo, Jan Valery. Like these players, no, I'm not like too worried about any of them coming in to the first team.
Yeah,
So-
and also someone makes a good point in the comments here is Danny Ings always gives us a torrid time whenever we play Southampton, and he's not going to be there obviously, so that's
Definitely.
obviously a plus for us. But when you're looking at the kind of past games between Spurs and Southampton, when you look at it, I'll bring it up on screen now. I mean, the last 4 games has been a host of goals. I mean, look at that: 2-1, 5-2, 3-2, 1-1.
That's what I mean. They're so open.
Can
Southampton.
you see that kind of game happening again tomorrow?
see us getting 5? I don't see. I think the way we're playing, we're being we're so defensively solid. The only thing I'm worried about, to be honest, actually, is a fair worry, is the wing backs, because Emerson played 90 minutes, Reguilon played 90 minutes, Session probably still out, so he can't play.
It's a weird one with Session, because I
And-
saw him in the training videos and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe he's back. I don't know. Maybe he said 10 days. Maybe he came back quicker. That would be good if he came back quicker. But if he,
It might come just a bit too soon.
we're assuming they're both out, that means gonna have to play Doherty and Reguilon, a tired Reguilon, and Doherty on Tuesday. And Southampton's one of their biggest threats are how they use the wings, because they like to play 4-2-4. So they like to overload those wings with the fullback and the winger. They like to overload those positions.
Yeah.
So is Doherty going to be able to be as much of a threat as Emerson was, and is Reguilon going to be able to keep up for 90 minutes, having played 90 minutes last week? That's what I'm most worried about, because Livramento and Walker Peters can be a big threat, plus they're 2 wingers. So that's one definitely point I can see us struggling. But other than that, I'm not worried about centre-backs. I'm not worried about central midfielders, because we've got cover there. And centre-backs, you don't need cover. They can play again. And forward players, we got cover there. We can either bring on Bergwijn, or we can go, even if we played the same front three. Kane had some rest, didn't he? So I'm not worried about that. But there are avenues where Southampton could get joy if we're not careful. And I think definitely wing back. I don't know what we can do about the wing back situation. Do you play Emerson again, and just play him now 90 minutes, a 2-2-2? Or do you bring in Doherty?
When's our next game after this? How many days rest? Is it
Watford
after
on the
this?
Sunday.
How many days rest is that, though?
Quite a bit.
It's a Tuesday. Yeah, you've got a fair amount of rest there. So I think you play Emerson, you start Emerson, and if he begins to turn, you bring on a Doherty.
But then you got because are you starting Reguilon as well with the view of taking him off, because does he have another 90 minutes in him?
I think he does. I know it's a big ask to play 2 games in as, like you say, as much as the fullback positions are taxing. I don't really think we've got a choice.
That's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm worried we don't have a choice. And that to that element, it's like there's not much we can do, even if they are tiring. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, but it could be a situation where just Conte has a plan for it. Like we conserved a lot of energy in the last game. Maybe because he conserves so much energy, then maybe it won't be too much of a problem. I know Reguilon and Emerson both did kind of expend quite a lot of energy, but maybe not as much as they would have done in a normal game.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I don't know if that's true, but I hope that they're able to play at their best. But that's the only thing I'm worried about, really.
And the ways that we can hurt them. I mean, it's just
So,
the,
yeah,
you know,
a lot.
the fullbacks, the wing backs.
Especially they like to play four at the back. They like to play four at the
top.
They like to play four at the back. They play actually 4-3-3 against West Ham, interestingly, which they don't usually. So they changed it up a bit. But definitely the back line is so slow, and you know, any pace can definitely get the better of them. The wing backs, as much as they're good going forward, then but defensively not the best. And definitely I could see them getting overawed if our fullbacks are playing well, especially early doors potentially. Definitely see them, especially because their wingers, Redmond, Walcott, not known for their tracking back and their
Walcott
ability.
Been starting like every game.
Not every game, but he started yesterday.
Hope he starts tomorrow.
I definitely hope he starts tomorrow. So they're a massive, and also in the middle, I know they got Ward-Prowse there, but if we had, I think definitely I'd back Skipp and Højbjerg to be dominating,
Skipp and Højbjerg.
or whoever, even if
Winks
it's Winks, or even if it's Winks, even if it's three, I'll back them to win the midfield battle because I don't think Ward-Prowse could do it all by himself, and I don't think the other players are that great. So and Southampton, they are an attacking team. They don't really care who they play against. They like to be on the front foot. They like to attack, and that will play into our hands. They're going to leave a lot of space. They will leave a lot of space going the other way, and that is definitely where we'll get avenues. There'll be openings for us as long as we don't give them an opportunity to shut up shop. There'll be openings for us, 100%.
All right, what score prediction are you going for?
I am going to go for 4-1.
4-1 you're going for? You're going for a big one?
I just think Southampton going to be tired. I think they're going to be open. They usually only know one way of playing, and it does get them wins, but also gets them a few hammerings sometimes. And I feel like they're going to come into this game trying to attack us, and that they're going to leave the door open way too much, and I think we're going to hurt them.
I'm going 4-1. I think I'm going to go for another 3-0. I think we're going to keep it tight at the back. We're going to weather the storm at the beginning I think Southampton will come out of the blocks quite fast. I think we'll weather the storm for the first 10-15 minutes, and then I think it's going to be total domination like it was yesterday, to be honest. So I'm going for another 3-0. I'm going for Harry Kane to get on the score sheet again, and I'm going for Lucas Moura to get on the score sheet again. Probably Harry Kane double. So that is my prediction. Sim's going 4-1. I'm going 3-0. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section. The press conference is with us at the moment as well. So I'm just trying to get this up so we can play it for you guys at the end. But let's start bringing on some guests, and then I can work on the press conference. But let's start off with... Just before you bring him on, I just want to give him some prior warning because he gets a big shock before I bring him on. But Mikey, are you there? We're going to bring you on in 5, 4.
Wait, is he hearing? Can he hear us? He can't hear us. Can he hear us?
Mikey, can you hear us? Put your thumbs up if you can hear us.
I don't know if he can hear us. He's making his bed.
He had a go at us yesterday.
No, you can hear now. You can, I think.
Mikey?
We can put Jory on first if you
we're
want.
going to bring Jory on first then. We'll bring the Jorical on first.
Oh, let's get. Where is he? Here he is.
Jory, how's it going,
guys.
man?
Morning, Jory.
Good. Morning.
How are we doing today?
Yeah, very good. It was a nice game yesterday.
How simple was that game yesterday,
Yeah,
Jory?
exactly. Almost too easy, almost too kind of comfortable for a Spurs fan, I think.
I know. I felt kind of weird watching the game yesterday because I was sitting here so calm, so relaxed, and it's the first time I've been like that watching a Spurs game for a very, very long time.
Me too. I was doing all kinds of extra stuff, like checking my emails, and I wasn't worried 1 second at all.
Jory, let me ask you. Go on. Make your point. Go on. What are you going to say?
No. Ask away, Sim.
I was going to ask you, Kane yesterday scored another goal. That's 2-2 now in the Premier League. From what, obviously you made a lot of remarks about him. I think it was pre-Conte, to be fair. But you were very adamant that this guy isn't here, isn't committed to the cause, and he needs to be gone, and we made a mistake not selling him. From what you're seeing at the moment, has that opinion changed, or you still think we might have to get rid at some point?
No. I mean, he is. I think now, that's a good point you bring up there. I think now he's back. He's completely back. I think in terms of goals, we'll see. But for me, that's not even the most important thing. The most important thing now is really. I say he's back. He's not. I still believe that we're never gonna see the Kane that we did at the best last season. But that's also because from here on, I don't think he will be played like that. So the whole thing won't be built up around him and around Son in the same way anymore. So I think actually what I loved seeing the last two games is that now he's finally getting back to being more of a striker. And even though he's not scoring a massive amounts of goals, he's starting to score again. But what you see, and when he's in and around the box constantly, is how he can pull the defenses left and right at his will. So making loads of space for the wingers, for the Lucas, whatever. For a second line of attack. That, to me, that's all. That's Sometimes it's sunny, but mostly we've seen it now with Kane. Kane has been opening up tons of space for the second line of attack. And that's what I really loved seeing with Delhi, for example. It was like the old days. You could see that Delhi. Oh, I recognize this. This is familiar for me. He just came into that space. He didn't take his chances, but. I think also Conte is just going back into the archives and saying what's worked, what do these guys know? What are they familiar with? How do they feel comfortable? And then he tries to work it in there, and that's kind of what I'm seeing, I think.
Go on.
No, I was also going to say, I was listening to you guys while walking to work now, and I was thinking, I think, Ben, you were alluding to some prior, you were talking about the midfielders, Winks and Delhi and so on. I just think in general now with Conte in, I think us fans, especially maybe the regulars on your show and stuff, we must, I definitely feel very vindicated with a lot of my views or my takes on various things, because all the things that we're so impressed with Conte improving are exactly the things that we've been for years pointing out. This is not good enough. This is not working, it seems like Conte has the exact same vision in that term, where he's a little bit better than us guys, is that he has the answers for how to solve those problems, but I definitely feel we are raving about the performance from Winks and even maybe Delhi in the Liverpool game, because we have been for years talking about how lackluster that part of our squad has been, and the same with Ben Davies. We can't believe what we're seeing, because he's been almost like a fifth wheel for many years. He's been at best irrelevant. So yeah, and the same now with what we're hearing now with the upcoming transfers and stuff like that. We've been talking about having a backup striker for a long time. I think it's been a while now that we've realized that it needs to be more of a competition for Kane, and a rotation for Kane, not a backup really,
Agreed.
Somebody really, somebody that's his equal, but maybe a younger striker.
You think if we signed another number 9, you saw how against Liverpool, Kane and Son were playing in a 2, and because you know you got Son's searing pace. That gave him a threat. It gave us a threat in behind, and because Kane is good at holding the ball, you know he's able to like pick Son out and stuff. Do you think if we did sign another number 9, could he play with Kane, or would it always have to be instead of Kane or rotation?
No, I definitely think it's definitely also for the 2 striker system, and and I think like if you combine Kane's hold up, Lucas hold up, and then with the strikers now, with the wingers, sorry, that we now like, because then Sonny can be a pure winger, get in behind or whatever, you know, or we can, you know, basically overload the central part of the box as well. You know, there's so many options that opens up once we have that second striker as well, especially if it's like with all I mean, I'm sure Bergwijn will get pretty close with Conte now, but I still doubt that Bergwijn will ever become exactly that kind of a, you know, can ever perfectly fill that role to the level that we need it. Maybe, who knows? I mean, Conte seems to be able to do amazing things, really. So, but I definitely think like that's probably one of the things that Conte will be switching up the most, is exactly that very front line, you know, how he decides to attack, you know, and the 2 like, I thought the 2 up front was probably some of the most flowing, kind of natural attacking I've seen in a long time with us, you know. So
it was like that proper wave after wave Pochettino football, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it was like exactly like you say, Kane that was able to hold it up, and then we could get the second tier of attack in there, or we could like, or you get the wingers going to the byline and cutting it back in and so on. Like these, like we've for so long been looking at almost like you know, single points of attack, or you know, at the most 2 points of attack or something, you know. But now in Conte is setting up a kind of a front system, front systems that that simply have the whole kind of spectrum to play with, and that's also where you open up a lot of space, you know. And that's one of where I'm seeing like we have so much space all of a sudden, you know. Even yesterday, where they're kind of sitting back on us, we still had a lot of space, you know. And and of course I sent you those super chats, Ben, and I like you, and I think you understood me there, the later one completely, because it's exactly like Brains was talking about. It's like in that system we have a central figure, which is kind of the instigator of everything, and also the distributor in some ways, and from that everybody else does their thing, you know. It's not that it's not that everybody else is supporting Lucas. It's more that we're working off Lucas. Okay, Lucas is doing his turn now. This is the time for me to do the diagonal run. This is the time for me to do all of these things, you know. And so this is again these drills and cues that Conte has so much brought into our.
It's just like now. Triggers all over the pitch. I mean, especially when Lucas gets the ball.
Exactly, and I also think, like, just in general, just the rapport and the way they're like looking at each other and just interacting with each other, Kane, Lucas, and Son. They're like, it's not Kane, Son now. It's like Lucas is fully in there with them, and they're really having a great time. Like, they're really having fun together, you know. So you can see it when they miss chances and stuff, you know. Instead of like this one, it's like they smile to each other, and you know that was.
I didn't see smiling when Lucas didn't let it go for Reguilon though.
No, but I mean that's the you still want some greed in there. You still want some killer instinct. But you know, there's none of them kind of maybe moping or blaming. Maybe more like passing the buck a little bit, So,
but Jory, we've got another big game coming thick and fast tomorrow against Southampton. I mean, how many of the starting 11 yesterday? I know Kane and Son went off early, so they're going to play. But in terms of the midfield, Skippy, Winksy, and the fullbacks as well, I mean, what do we do for tomorrow?
I mean, for me, like yesterday, if I had to criticize anything yesterday, it was so comfortable that you shouldn't really. But simply, almost from my entertainment point of view, I did miss, believe it or not, like a Winks or a Deli in the middle, I did miss somebody to...
If I told you were going to say that 6 months ago or 3 weeks ago even, you would have been like, Ben, you're crazy.
I would have unsubscribed and quit my membership and everything. These guys have lost it completely, So, yeah, it's kind of unbelievable, to be honest, yeah. But I felt like, if we had to add anything there, it was kind of those. Actually, Dyer did it a lot in the Liverpool game as well. These long in the channel, like the Ndombele assist as well. Those kind of passes we missed a little bit yesterday. But the setup was a different. Like the game plan was different there. But for me, like that's one where we explode. Like we both have the pace, but we also have like the execution, the finishing to like you can do like a Winks pass from the middle, and that can be an assist for a Kane shot. Like it doesn't need to. Like we have a team where we have that luxury where we can take the whole half, and in 2 touches we can basically score a goal. Like that's something that we have. Anybody can do it on luck, but this is actually an option in Tottenham. We have a clinical shooter like Kane and others like Lucas also. When he puts his mind to it, very clinical. Sonny, when he's like, we hopefully are gonna see Sonny's touch get better. There's still some work to be done there for sure. So
I thought he started the game yesterday a lot sharper with his touch. Sonny.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I didn't see him lose the ball like the typical thing we've seen a lot is like when he gets the pass, he'll lose it too far from him, and not get it back. And I didn't see that to the same degree. I actually don't remember too much of his shooting yesterday, other than the goal. But in general, I think it's all in the right direction with Sonny. But I don't know in terms of the next game. I think maybe a little bit more towards the Liverpool type play would suit this one to actually because they are all about the press as well and so on. So I think being able to strike, maybe a 2-striker thing, being able to utilize the space that they leave behind would be the way to go, maybe. But
I'm just saying, just Conte was saying in his press conference, when you're playing 2 games in 2 days, his difficult option, because he said he can make a lot of changes, but then your team does it gets fresher, but it loses maybe a bit of its identity, or you keep a lot of the players in there, and you'll have the team identity, but you might not be as fresh. So how do you think he come back to that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I agree, but I also think like either way we have good systems and a good team either way now. And in terms of freshness, I think you guys already alluded to it. We should, even though it's been a short while since we played, we should be winning that. If anybody's going to be disadvantaged, it should be Southampton now from that struggle game they just had. So
True.
I think like, for example, you were talking about Reguilon. I think, to be honest, when people are a little bit rusty, I kind of feel like Conte has a tendency to want to play you even more, just to get over that hump. Even though it'll completely blow you out, then at least you will like get those kinks out of your game, and you'll get to rest the next game. I could see that he would start Reguilon and then rest him next game or something, but I don't know. I just think we also also maybe are going to start with exactly soaking up their initial press, and then we'll probably maybe change our formation, change our approach, and then start the counter pressing and getting into those big spaces that they can leave. So and we, unlike many other teams, we have the pace to completely kill these counter press. Like, we also have the passes. Maybe this is exactly the time for Winks to shine again, along with the Dyer, for those pinging over the press all the time, like we did with Liverpool. I think those almost semi-long balls that we were doing a lot of in that game were spot on. I think once you go, pinging way down to the byline, then you lose too many balls for my taste. Usually, then it becomes, the odds kind of stack against you. But because they leave so much space, the half ball there, the half of the pitch is kind of the perfect ball to play, and we saw that again and again. That's how we got past Liverpool again and again. So. And certainly Dyer and Winks both showed that they were up for it in that game. So,
all right. Jory, just before we let you go, score prediction.
Let's go with I'm thinking we'll keep the clean sheets, and I'm thinking, it's got to be one more, right? So 4-0.
4-0. Love that.
Yeah.
Come on, Jory. The confidence is oozing out of the Spurs fan base at the moment. That is what I love to see. Jory, we'll see you next time.
All right, guys.
Nice one, Jory. Good to see you, mate.
Bye.
That's obviously the great Joracle. Now it's time to bring on Mikey if he's ready. Are you ready, Mikey?
I'm ready this time, I promise. Yeah.
Go on, Mikey. How's it going?
Was he eating again yesterday, was he?
No, yesterday I was trying to get my connection working. Today I was making my bed. So yeah, it's.
And I'm Ben, and he's Sim.
Yes, I know. Sim's the one on the left, Ben's on the right.
You just call us left and right if you want, if that's easier.
Wait, so are you your brothers, aren't you?
We are.
You look very similar. Are you twins?
We're not twins.
We're not twins, no.
Oh, okay. So who's older?
Who do you think is older?
Probably Sim.
You are incorrect.
By how much?
Not wrong.
3 years.
Oh, well, I respect Ben more now. So, well, I spoke in great length on the performance yesterday on the post-match fan show, and
Let's talk about tomorrow then.
I'm very pleased with how we performed yesterday. Tomorrow, yes, Southampton away. One of my, I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but one of my old closest friends is a Southampton fan, so I bet he's watching on thinking, I hope that Southampton beat Tottenham, but I can't see. They had a very good win against West Ham yesterday, albeit a depleted West Ham side, but I can't really see any way that we don't get the 3 points tomorrow based on, obviously, in the match, stats go out the window, but obviously the only thing you have to base your prediction on is stats, so I can't see any way that Southampton win this or even get remotely close to a draw from this. I think we're going to steamroll them on the day.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Southampton, obviously, a lot of their focus when they play is a lot of the time down the wings. They use their fullbacks a lot on their wingers, and they're very, very attacking. And with Tottenham having Emerson and Reguilon play 90 minutes yesterday with not much backup, was with Doherty and Sessegnon's injured, but Doherty might come in or not. How do you combat that situation? Do you just use the same fullbacks with potential of them burning out and maybe losing the dominance on the wing, or do you change it up? What do you think?
I think because he played Sanchez, Tanganga and Eric Dyer, it's no doubt that Ben Davies will come back into the side. So that will give us an extra fortification down the left. If Reguilon starts to burn out, we have that extra solidity of Ben Davies, shall we say. That's probably the most appropriate thing to say. And if you've got Ben Davies coming back, you can afford to give Emerson a rest because we don't have a substitute left wing back. We've got Reguilon who'll probably have to play the full 90 unless he magically decides to play Doherty at left wing back and play, I don't know, Tanganga on the right, because we know Tanganga can play at anywhere along the defence. Probably right centre back and right back is his preferred positions. But we have enough cover that I think. Sorry, we have enough cover that I think Davis's return to the team, probably for Tanganga coming out, will allow us to have a Tanganga option on the right, maybe a Doc, because he's played left wing back a couple of times for Ireland. So if it's really necessary, if Reguilon's really starting to tire, then we can afford to play Doherty at left wing back and have the two options. So I think we have enough fortification to be able to start with Emerson and Reguilon. But I think obviously you said Southampton's attacks come down their wings. They've got Theo Walcott, who's no slouch. You know, if he gets into a stride, he's probably one of the quickest players in the Premier League still. And obviously you've got Redmond, our old friend Walker Peters, and I don't know who they play at left back, but
they play Walker Peters there.
They play Walker Peters left back and Livramento at right back, I think.
Yeah, Tino Livramento, I forgot about him. So obviously they've both had cracking starts to the season. Walker Peters was one of the best players on the pitch. I watched Match of the Day last night for the first time in God knows how long, and I saw Walker Peters as one of the best players on the pitch in the Southampton game. So it's definitely not gonna be a walk in the park, but I think if we can just stabilize the game, he will obviously make changes. Ben Davis will come in. Ken and Son will definitely start. Maybe because Lucas played the full 90, he might play a Bergwijn in this. But I think Lucas maybe might start, depending on how fit he is, come off at half-time or 60 minutes. Or he might choose to start Bergwijn and bring Lucas on as his impact sub, as he has so often done this season. So it's the lineup that we play will influence my decision about the result, but I'm still confident that we can get the 3 points at St Mary's and come back to London ever closer to reaching Arsenal in fourth at the moment.
And how confident are you of the actual 3 points tomorrow? I mean, Conte has really got to grips with his squad. Everyone that comes in seems to be playing well. I mean, you're very confident of the 3 points tomorrow?
I am. I would argue that I'm more confident with the 3 points tomorrow than I am against Watford, because when Tottenham play mid-table teams, we often seem to get a good result. And as soon as we play someone who it's never in any doubt that we should win, we start to fumble because it's Tottenham. I know it's Conte and hopefully it's different this time, but I'd argue I'm more confident about the Southampton 3 points than I am about the Watford 3 points. But I think that if we can neutralise James Ward-Prowse, don't give away set pieces. That's literally the key, because you saw yesterday Ward-Prowse from the penalty spot and from free kicks. He's the best in the Premier League, maybe apart from Kevin De Bruyne, but I'd still like Ward-Prowse is absolutely lethal from set pieces. So
he's not better than Kane, let's be honest.
Pardon?
He's not better than Kane, let's be honest.
Ah, yes, Kane never hits the wall with a free kick. I know what you mean. No, but speaking factually, their outlets are going to be Tino Livramento down the right. So Ben Davis will have to come back in and neutralise him, and James Ward-Prowse from set pieces. If we don't give away any free kick within a 30-yard radius, we should be all good, because he can hit them. His technique is unrivaled. I can't rave about the guy enough. He's one of my favourite players outside the top six, and I think Tottenham should be one of our primary targets, because he is that midfield presence that can create. We haven't had a proper set piece taker since Trippier and Eriksen left.
Yeah,
and
true.
It would be a brilliant move, but obviously Ward-Prowse signed a new contract. I don't think he's going to leave St Mary's. He's the captain. I mean, I said that about Højbjerg, and now look at him. So maybe Ward-Prowse would be persuaded to leave, but I don't think he'll be one of our primary targets. But he is the key to neutralising Southampton. You have to neutralise Ward-Prowse's set piece threat. And what a game for Sanchez to mess up and give away a penalty against Ward-Prowse. That would be classic Tottenham. But I'm confident that we'll come away with another 2 or 3 goal cushion win.
So I was just about to ask, what is your score prediction? 3-0, 4-1?
I do think they'll score, because it is such that even though we will neutralise it, there's going to be niggling fouls every game when closer to your box, and Ward-Prowse will have the opportunity to deliver at least one killer ball. So I'm predicting they'll score at least one from a Ward-Prowse set piece, but I don't think Bednarek and who else do they have in centre back? I was going to say Vestergaard, but he plays for Leicester.
He plays for Leicester now, yeah.
I'm not sure who else
as the other centre back.
Mohamed Salisu, isn't it?
Yeah, they rotate. I think it's Salisu. Yesterday they play, Salisu.
I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be at the races enough to stop Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. I predict Harry Kane to bag another, and I predict. I predicted Reggie last time. I'm going to go for another wild shout, depending on who starts. Maybe Dele Alli. If he gets a start,
right.
I predict Dele Alli to score. So I'm going to go for, and then a Son as well. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Tottenham win.
All right. Mikey, always great to talk to you, my friend, and we shall speak to you soon.
I'll probably be on the post-match fan show tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. I don't think we're going to be here. Well, one of us might be here, but we'll see.
Okay, well, see you guys.
See you,
Nice
Mikey.
one. Nice
Good
one,
to see
Mikey.
you. All right, let's keep going and let's go. Look who's got Coach Stell waiting to come and speak to us. Coach, how's it going, Coach?
Building. Can you hear us? You can hear us, yeah.
I'm so happy that I'm ahead of Brian Daigle because I can see him in the background. And as long as I'm first and he's second, that's the main thing for today. So
But that's
I'm really
how it
happy.
works here. First come, first serve.
And let's introduce
Mr.
Brian
Coach
Daigle.
Hello, man.
All right. Thanks, guys. Great being on the show. Bye.
It'd be nice if we could bring them both on together.
Don't know if we can do that. Do we have
that
a
a
graphic for it?
possibility?
Do we have a thing for it?
All right, we'll talk, and if they can work it out, they can work it out. But let's start off with Coach Stell. I can see Brian there laughing in the background. Not sure what he's laughing at, but
We got Stell on at the moment. This is the most important thing.
He's laughing at his silver medal. That's what he's laughing at.
Stell, how are you looking at coming into the game tomorrow in terms of like personnel we're going to be playing? Are you expecting a similar lineup to what it was yesterday?
Yeah, I think it will be a similar lineup. That seems to be his go-to. I think Davis will come in. I think Tanganga won't play tomorrow, though. Otherwise, I think the rest of the squad will be the same. Moura, Kane, Son. They seem to be the best attacking three. In fact, they're the only three that score goals, so you want them playing. And Højbjerg and Skipp are the go-to holding mid. So it probably will be the same. There might be one or two tweaks. Maybe a surprise Harry Winks start. Maybe a surprise Doherty start because we've got to rotate players. But who knows? We'll see tomorrow. But it's a very, very, very difficult game tomorrow, Ben and Sim. I don't think this is a foregone conclusion because I was having this chat on Twitter today how the confidence is back at the club.
I'm sure you were having the conversation today on Twitter, Stell.
Well, not with you.
Go on, carry on. Sorry.
I just think that at the moment we've got the feel good factor back. They're a fitter team, which means they're working harder because they've got the fitness to work harder. They're playing for the manager, so there's loads of positives. We're keeping clean sheets. We're scoring goals. Everything's going in the right direction. But I approach it with a lot of caution as well because I've been here before with Spurs, and just looking at it from, take your emotion out of it and just look at it just from your mind only. We haven't played anyone in the Premier League in the top 10 except for Liverpool.
Yeah.
We've played only bottom half teams. A bit like Arsenal. They're playing Norwich's and Leeds United who are depleted. The only top team we played in the Premier League is Liverpool and they were slightly depleted and we got a draw. We're happy with the draw because we played well on the day. The performance is what we were happy with. But in terms of the result, we didn't get the result. Yeah. And likewise, we've had 2 away games under Conte and we haven't won either. So I go into this game with a little bit of apprehension in the fact that we're playing a team that's away and we haven't yet been tested away. So I don't think we're going to have it all our way. I think Southampton will give us a good game, but we should have enough in terms of the confidence that we've got at the moment to beat them.
Yeah, and in terms of how Southampton like to play, they're the very attacking team. They like to get their fullbacks very high up. They like to play a bit of a 4-2-4 system a lot of the time. And shouldn't that play into our hands if they do come and attack us and really go for it? Like, how do you think? Or do you think that the fact they're going to press us and attack us might put us under a bit of pressure?
Yeah, it will put us under pressure. But all teams that come at us will put us under pressure. That's why you need to have a good defensive structure, which we have with Conte. Tactically, he knows how to adjust the team to make us defensively resilient. And he proved that against Liverpool. Like when we did the tactics show, how he had 3 players shift across to nullify their strengths. So I'm not too worried about us defensively. The only thing I'm worried about defensively is obviously what the last chap that called in, Mikey, said. Set pieces and free kicks, they've got a lethal weapon in Ward-Prowse. His delivery of the ball into the box and his ability to, strike a quality free kick, that's probably the biggest area of concern for us because we do look a bit vulnerable from set pieces, and it was highlighted when we played West Ham. But if they come onto us and the space opens up behind, we're a very lethal counter-attacking team at the moment. We're probably one of the top 3-4 teams in the league at counter-attacking, would you say, at the moment, based on performances?
Well, definitely since Conte has come in with Moura's, the uprise in Moura's performances, Kane getting on the score sheets now, Sonny as well, and the fullbacks as well. Yeah, I think you're right.
And it's the way we shift the ball as well. Like we'll build up the play down the left, but we'll see the space open on the right, and we'll play that ball out wide, and then the ball will come back into the box where we've got runners coming in. So we know how to play the counter-attack. I think Conte has coached them how he wants the counter-attack to work as well. Yeah. Hopefully Southampton come onto us and they leave loads of gaps behind like they did last year, and we put another 5 goals past them.
Yeah, Kane and Son to work their magic once again. But how do you see?
Are we
the
ready
game?
to bring on Brian? Or
let's bring on Brian as well. Why not?
Oh no,
we'll have the troublesome two together. Have the troublesome two
You
together.
run your mouth. I'm first. Well, look what bloody well happened.
If you want to send anything, Stel, we wouldn't have brought him on. That's what I'm saying.
Wait there 1 second, Brian. 1 second.
What's he
Brian,
getting?
what's your thoughts been on just what we've been speaking about, personnel coming in and that kind of stuff for tomorrow?
So
gold medal, Brian. Gold.
There you go.
Yeah, but I haven't had a chance to coach any teams to success. So you're one up on me there, brother. So no, listen, I've got a feeling Davies walks back in. And then also I've got a feeling, I think we were talking about this yesterday when we saw Dele and Winks weren't playing. Obviously, they had a great performance against Liverpool, and I've got a feeling they'll start tomorrow. I think that the reason they didn't start, maybe not tomorrow, maybe against Watford, but I think those two are coming in at some point. And yeah, Davies, I think being the big one that will come in. I can't believe I'm saying Davies the big one, but he has been sensational. So I think pretty much apart from that, we may see a pretty similar team.
Do the fullbacks worry you for tomorrow? Because obviously they expend a lot of energy in the system we play. I mean, does it worry you that they're going to play 2 games in more or less 48 hours?
Do you know what? With Reguilon, he's got so much stuff. It doesn't concern me so much with Reguilon, because Reguilon's just got energy to burn. He's like Forrest Gump. I just felt like running, and off he goes. That's what he does. But Emerson, maybe just because he's adapted to the Premier League still and the intensity of it. So maybe then you may see a Tanganga or even possibly a Doty, which I really don't want to see. But Tanganga worries me more on that issue than Reguilon.
What do you think, Stel? Yeah, go on. Stel, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to add to that. I think Southampton should be more worried because they've had a very, very demanding game against West Ham.
Yeah.
They don't have the squad depth that we do. And on top of that, because we were... basically, the game was won at 2-0. Once they got the red card, we'd won the game. We were able to rest players and start rotating a bit. They never had that chance because they had to go full throttle all the way to the end of their game because it was, a very tight game.
Yeah.
I think Southampton, if we're going to talk about fitness, I think they will find it tougher tomorrow than what we will. And I bet we see that in the last 20 minutes, you'll see them begin to waver. And we'll still have energy, and we'll still be going at them.
And still, it seems to be a kind of theme in Southampton's performances as well. Maybe not the West Ham game aside, you knock that game aside, but they always seem to have a fast start and then tire throughout the games. So I guess that can work in our favour, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has a fast start against Tottenham at the moment.
No, I'm saying I'm just talking about in general, Southampton's displays this season.
Yeah, I think they're trying to do kind of what Man City do, where Man City, they want to put the game to bed early and just come at you quick and get as many goals early. But they don't have the squad, Southampton, and they've been blighted with injuries over the years. I actually feel a bit sorry for Hasenhuttl because I think he's a really good manager, but he's not really had the rub of the green. But I think tomorrow they will feel it more than us. That game against West Ham was very demanding for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Conte quote from his press conference today, talking about whether he'll make a lot of changes. He said it's not so simple when you play 2 games in 2 days. You can either have a fresh team on the one hand, but on the other hand, you can lose a bit of your identity if you make too many changes. We'll try to make the best decision, but it won't be easy. I'll give it to Brian first. What do you think? What do you think we should do? Is it better to have a fresher team or a team with more of an identity on the pitch?
Do you know what? This is a really, really tough question. What you got to look at as well is right now, there's no substitute for the confidence and adrenaline that's going through that Spurs squad right now. If this had been still under Nuno, they would have been like, oh, Jesus, here we go. But they are so confident. They are so in form. And then you also look at it right now, we're going to the games, right? We look at it and even everyone, we don't know the team. And right now, any team he puts out, rather than being like, huh, why is he playing or what's he doing? You're like, oh, okay, I can see what he's... There's not a player that I don't think gets into that team. Maybe a Doherty where you're like, what the hell right now? Because everyone has come on and done bits. And I think the confidence that the team are going through, you even saw it, just little things like that celebration for the 3rd goal, when the whole team are getting back together like Pete Poch and celebrating together. There's such a bond and atmosphere and confidence in that club. Or our club right now. It's so refreshing to see, as well as substitutes with Kane going off after 60 minutes. When the hell does that ever happen?
Yeah,
he's
very rarely.
The team,
that was so good to see, wasn't it? That was so good to see.
It's so refreshing to see us make a substitution first, and even he's making them at the right time with the right personnel to affect the game he wants to. So you can't discount just what that half-hour rest is going to do for Kane.
Brian,
I think it.
He's a proper manager, isn't he? He's a proper manager in terms of developing players, tactical know-how, like you said, making substitutions at the right time. We've got the real deal.
His game management is second to none
at the club.
He's the real deal. I was sitting next to Simeon, obviously, and we used to sing it for Poch, but I think it was about 70 minutes into the game, the biggest Antonio chant went round.
Yeah.
And we're still playing in the game, and he's standing there and he's clapping everyone. I mean, like I said, this guy has absolutely no idea what a technical area is. He just knows to stay out of that box. He is so motivated. He is so everywhere. He is infectious. He is contagious. He is incredible. And like I said, the last game I saw was the United game. We know how poor that was. And you guys have all had the pleasure of seeing Conte play a few games at home now. And it's not night and day doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
He is beyond elite. He is, when you see what he's doing with the same players that Mourinho, that Nuno, that the end of Poch could not get a tune out of, and they are dancing to his tune. I think we go into this game. I'm going to say the prediction again, like normal. I'm going to do it for Bob Spur and say 4-1. But I reckon it could be more. The confidence and just aura of that club at the moment and those players is just on another level.
Yeah, it really is. The confidence is seeping through the whole club right now, the whole club from top to bottom, from Conte all the way down to the fan base. I mean, there's just confidence oozing from everyone. I mean, Stel, how do you think the game will pan out tomorrow? What's your score prediction?
Oh, Ben, I hate doing score predictions because I always get them wrong and I'll end up jinxing it. One half of me says I agree with Brian. I think we're going to batter them. But the other half of me says it's an away game. I'm still a little bit apprehensive about away games because we haven't played many yet, and it's a different atmosphere not being at White Hart Lane. And and the better you are as a team, the more the opposition wants to beat you. The more they want to try harder because they know you're good now. So, oh, blimey. I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
Spurs,
All right.
3-1.
All right. So, I mean, still confident predictions everywhere. I mean, we've had 4-1s, 4-0s, 3-0s. But look, Brian, Stel, it was great to see you guys last night and looking forward to seeing you again very soon.
I'll see you tomorrow. But did I just hear one of you might not be going to Southampton?
Potentially, yeah. Because
Josh King's pulled out.
Josh King can't do the watch-along tomorrow anymore.
All right, so I don't care. Everyone in that Tottenham Hotspur community, this is my first away game, but I can't think how many years, and it needs to be with Ben and Simeon. It needs to be with Ben and Simeon. So
Brian,
someone
you need to go into the watch along group and get someone to do the watch along.
yeah, okay. There's a very
Yeah, go
strong
on.
voice
Wait,
note
what's
coming
Stel
their
saying?
way.
Is that ticket available?
It will be if we can't find anyone else. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going if it's available.
He's putting his hat in the ring.
Hat in the ring, guys.
No,
Stel, you
mate,
can
that's
have
what
it.
you
You can
can
have.
All right, Stel, you can have Brian's ticket. No worries.
Oh, yeah.
Number one, Brian. Number one.
Del, you take my ticket, you'll be disappearing from Tottenham away for the foreseeable future, mate.
That's proper Antonio. Is it the
No,
fish
that's
or the head?
typical Levy, brother. You're doing a Levy on me, and we know how well I take to that.
Brian's been
Listen.
levied.
No, Simeon, be careful. Watch what you say there.
Look, I love Brian. He's like a brother. We went to school together, so
Correct.
he knows who's the boss. It's all right.
There's got a comment
Yeah,
here
I
from
like
Study
that.
Hobbit
Great.
saying Brian is asserting his dominance over Statman Stel.
Stat man.
I thought you didn't like
Cheeky.
Stat Stel.
What a cheeky comment that is. Yeah, I love a stat. I love a stat. Have you got any stats for tomorrow, guys? Any stats we can?
Any stats that we've? No, I don't have any stats.
Not off the top of my head. Not off the top of my head. But I know Tottenham got another over 2 XG yesterday, Stel. So more improvement there.
Oh, has anyone actually? I just got to talk about it. So I was just on another stream with Chris, and Ian read out a tweet. Do you know Giola Anderton got injured in the warm down?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
How is that even possible?
They said he felt a tight thigh and it's not thought to be serious. They said.
I mean, still, how is it possible when you don't play a game, you may have run up the tunnel and you get injured in the warm down?
Come on, Coach Stel, give us a breakdown.
Unless he's come back a little bit too early, because when you come back from injury and you're not 100%, that's why you do your warm ups and you do your, he's getting back into match fitness, so it can happen. It can happen, but it's just annoying that it's happened to him because it's always him, isn't it? It's always this also.
He needs to wear that. He needs to wear that Balotelli shirt. Why always me?
Yeah,
that's what he needs. That's what he needs. But yeah, guys, hopefully I'll see you both tomorrow. And also, like I said, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone in the We Are Tottenham TV family and community for helping Tottenham on Tour get to 1,000 subscribers. Really, really appreciate it. It was it's very humbling, and we're very, very happy, and can't thank everyone enough.
Well, what this is now, it's not We Are Tottenham on tour, it's We Are Tottenham away. We Are Tottenham on tour away, or We Are Tottenham away on tour.
We Are Tottenham away on tour has a better ring to it,
Yeah.
but
the Tottenham away bit has to go first, though, guys. So it's Tottenham away on tour.
So you've got a real inferiority complex here. You have to go first. You have to go first, mate. Listen,
just call it We Are Away on Tour.
Listen, just save the best for last. Save the best for last. I'm fine with that.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, speak to you very soon. Brian, Stel, I'll speak to you both about tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Nice one, guys. Good to see you
So
guys.
let's do it together. Let's do it together, what I normally say, okay? And as always, Levy out.
I love those two guys, man. Absolutely
Brilliant
love
stuff.
those two guys. No more guests, are there? All right, there's no more guests, but we're going to leave you with Antonio Conte's Embargoed press conference for the Southampton game. But that is all from us today. So thank you, everyone, for joining today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Oh, hi, Antonio.
Hey.
You're up to 5th now in the Premier League. Do you feel like you've quietly gone about your business since you arrived at the club?
I didn't understand well. Yeah, but I think that my work is going ahead, and I always say that I have found the great availability of my players, and it's good. This is good because when you're a player that want to improve, they want to go into the tactical idea, is easier. And I think from the start until now, the team has improved in many aspects. I know that it's not enough. It's not enough to try to be competitive to win something, to be competitive for a place in Champions League. But we had a point that we started to work. Now we have to continue this way. We know our strength. We know also our weaknesses. We have to work to improve our weakness and to become stronger.
What do you think your main weaknesses are in this Spurs team then? What do you think you need to improve on the most?
But I ask to my players to play football with personality and to try to make the best decision. And I think that during the game, sometimes we leave emotional moment. And I think that we have to improve under this aspect and for sure to play following an idea of football can help the players. But I think we have players with quality in our team. We know very well that there are top players also, and now we have to improve the personality, to control more the game in possession, to improve the decision, the last pass, the final pass, the finishing. I think that we can improve a lot under this aspect, because also today we created many chances and I think we could score more.
And just finally, one on Harry Kane. 2 goals now in 2 consecutive league games. Are we now starting to see the Harry Kane evolve? And what part have you played, do you think, in sort of refinding that form?
But when I say that we have top player, and for sure Harry is one of these, and we are talking about a top class striker, and I wasn't worried when he didn't score, and I know that in every game we created chance, and to have Harry is a good thing for me and for my team. Now I repeat, we have to continue to work and to improve the link also with the strikers, with the wing back, with the midfielder. We need to improve the confidence and to take more and more personality to play to play football and to control more the game. And sometimes we lose the control. And I think a great team, a big team, has to stay in every moment into the game to understand what is happening.
Thanks, Olivia.
Thank you.
Jerry Cox, please.
Hi, Antonio. Congratulations today. You've only conceded 3 goals in the Premier League since you came to Tottenham. Is that the key, the foundation to your success?
But our foundation, but I think in every team that want to have a to be successful, and there is the balance, and the balance is very, very important, and you must be good and offensively and also defensively. It means that when you attack, you have to prepare don't give chance, don't give the counter attack, and it's the same if you are too defensively. It's not good because you are too passive. I think the key words to have a team that want to be competitive is the balance, to find the right balance in possession and without possession. I think we are improving. We are improving in these two aspects. Today, another clean sheet, and is good because to have another clean sheet improve the confidence of your defenders, but the confidence of the whole team, because the whole team must be ready to defend. At the same time, to score 3 goals and to create many chances to improve the result is important as well, because if you don't score, you don't win.
Thanks, Jerry. Dan Kilpatrick, please.
Hi, Antonio. With 2 games in 48 hours, I wondered, could that 2-week break you had, I know you didn't have the whole squad, but could that 2-week break be quite helpful for some of the players this week? Because you've effectively had a small winter break for some of the squad.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy for us. It's not easy for every team to play and not after today, and to play after 40 hours, and it's not simple. It's not simple, and for sure, when you have this type of a situation, if you have a strong squad, it's easier because you can make a rotation, and you have to try to give a rest and to have a team fresher. And we'll see tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow, because I want to understand very well the real physical condition of my players, and it's normal when you change many players, and then it's not simple. It's not simple because you can lose. You can have a fresh team, but in one hand, in other hand, you can lose a bit of your identity. We'll try to make the best decision tomorrow, but for sure it won't be easy.
And can I just check on team news, Antonio? Is Lo Celso injured again?
Yeah, but Lo Celso, but it's not a serious injury. And after the game against West Ham, and the players that didn't play, they had a little training, and in this training, he had a bit of fatigue in his calf, but only for precaution, and we decided to wait, and especially in this situation, it's important to listen the feeling of the player, no? And because when you have problem in your calf, and only the player can give you the right situation.
Thanks, Dan. And finally, we'll move on to the 10:30 p.m. section for Monday night. Matt Dunn, please.